Today I'm going to show you how I make grape jelly, and this is a really easy grape jelly recipe, so it's great if you're a beginner, but it still tastes really great, so if you're not a beginner, it's still a great recipe to make. We grew grapes in our backyard. This is the first year that we've had tons of grapes, so we were able to make grape jelly for the first time this year. The recipe is actually meant for Concord grapes, but because we live fairly north in Canada, we can't grow those here, but we can grow a grape that's very similar. It's known as the Valiant grape, and it grows tons of grapes. So if you live in Edmonton or Calgary or somewhere in the prairies, that'll absolutely work for you. The first step to making grape jelly is making the juice. So after you've picked the grapes, you wash them off, pick off all the stems, and put the grapes into a large pan. Add just a little water so you don't burn the grapes, about half a cup. To make the jelly, you need a little less than 4 pounds of grapes. Bring the water and grapes to a boil, stirring them often. Then bring the heat down to allow the grapes to boil gently, stirring and crushing them. Once they start becoming really juicy, which will take 5-10 minutes, scoop the juice into a cheesecloth or a jelly bag and let it drip for a couple of hours. For this recipe, you'll need about 4 cups of juice total. Once it's time to make the jelly, start by prepping your jars. You'll need 7 of the 250 milliliter jars for this. Put them into your canner and fill it with water and then set it on the stove to boil. Once they boil, turn it down to low. Add your jar seals to a different small pot and bring that to a boil, and once that boils, turn it to low and cover. Now you're ready to make the actual jelly. In a large pot, take 4 cups of the grape juice, 7 cups of sugar, and a half teaspoon of margarine and stir them all together. The margarine helps keep the foam down as it boils. Bring the mixture to a hard boil over high heat and stir it constantly. Once it comes to a rolling boil that you can't stir down, add the liquid pectin and keep stirring while boiling it hard for 1 minute. Now take it off the heat and skim off the foam. Now it's time to put it in the jars. Fill each jar with the jelly, measuring to make sure you have left a 1/4 inch of headspace. Clean the rim of each jar, then add a seal and a lid, closing it finger tight, not too hard. Put it back in the canner and keep filling the other jars until you've filled all of them. Make sure the jars are completely covered with water, then bring the canner to a boil again. Once it starts boiling, set your timer for the required time to process. For this recipe, it's a minimum of 10 minutes, with extra time added on if you live in a higher elevation. I have to boil the jars for 15 minutes, so look it up online to see how much time you need to add for canning recipes where you live. After the time is up, leave them sitting on your counter for 24 hours, then test the little button on the middle of the seal to make sure it's firmly down. If it popped up on any of your jars, then you'll have to put that one in the fridge to eat soon since it didn't seal properly. The rest can go on your shelves to be enjoyed for up to a year.